Alrighty, welcome back to another video, everybody. We have, we've just been tinkering around the yard for the last couple days. Starting to really get into this receiving pit project. We've changed quite a few things. We've changed where the pit's going to go, and so that comes with a few things, but we've been working on getting the puck board. We're actually, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but this thing gets so dirty with these tires. It splashes manure up on the rad all day and really all over the crawler. So it's kind of what we came up with for a quick solution for now. Not the prettiest. This white puck board's easy to work with and it's lightweight, so if that design works, we can make it out of thin steel in the winter or something. But, they got it inside the wagons. This one's almost done. But yeah, that makes it very slippery and it fixes the holes that were in the wagon. So, gotta put one more piece here. I don't know if we'll bother filling in that corner or not, but it should keep crop grain from hanging up in the wagons, because we're no longer going to tilt them. We're just going to set them straight flat on 2.5 or 2 foot cement blocks down in the pit hole in the basement. So they'll be 2 feet off the basement floor with the drag conveyor running in between them. I'll actually maybe go over to the building site right now and we'll show you. They got the first bin pad poured. Got it done yesterday. They flew through setting up the rebar. They did that 2 days ago and they got it poured yesterday. Went really quick, really good. Yeah. The bin's supposed to show up last week of August, I think. So they can throw all that together. Yeah, we're gonna dig a hole here and put our new drive over pit 16 by 18 in these 4 pylons, and then have a long drag conveyor to dump it into the wet leg over there is the plan now. A couple reasons. We were going to have to do some sort of reclaim from this bin over to there anyway. Now this bin can just dump into a pipe and down into the pit and then up and into this drag, and then when we pile wet corn here, we can make a little short mini pit in this corner that dumps into this drag as well. And it solves our reclaim of our wet pile problem. We don't have to set an auger up every time anymore. And then we'll for sure have our hole dug, our basement poured, and our wagons in the ground that we can drive over that again by the time bean harvest comes. We might not have this drag in, which we've got a lot of cleaning up to do. Ignore the mess. We might not have this drag in time, but we'll still have this pit. So we can receive beans using this pit, and we'll just have 2 pits from now on. Won't ever hopefully use this one. We'll always use that one. But then we don't have to play around with reclaiming these bins. And the more we talked about building it here, the more concerned we got about caving in, because we had to go 10 feet deep, 18 feet wide. Like, we were going to be digging right on the edge of the bins and the leg, and our luck, something would cave in, undermine the bin. Yeah, just make more work. Then it could get real expensive in a hurry. It'll have to be an 8,000 bushel an hour drag to that point, which isn't going to be the cheapest. But in the long run, I think it's going to work out in our favor. It really solves the reclaim issues. It's 2 birds, 1 stone that way, and we are putting another overhead up, which this pylon is going to be the other leg for, I believe. So there'll be another 100-ton overhead this way, and instead of people driving around the yard and dumping facing this way, they will come off the scales and dump facing this way now. So nobody forgets to put their dumper down or their trailer down and take out our overhead. But only downside to this is we had expanded the yard to make our waiting line longer once you've weighed in. we can only probably have 3 or 4 people waiting after they've weighed in before they start blocking the people that have to get around the bins and out the other way. So we're going to have some kind of traffic control that once people can't make the turn after they've scaled in full, they have to wait up there and not even get scaled in yet. But hopefully this pit kind of alleviates some of the waiting, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. The guys that take the samples up to the scale house have to walk a lot further now, but that's what we've come up with. It takes the risk out of it, or it all goes to not as planned, and parts don't show up, a drag doesn't show up, it's whatever. We still have our old pit to use for the year. We're not taking ourselves out of commission. We're doing all the stuff that we can't do while we are trying to ship out or receive, which is dig the hole, basically. Everything else can be done whenever. So that's the new plan. Yeah, we'll maybe tinker around on the wagons in the shop here for a bit yet tonight, but things are coming together. And then there's the 2 used bins that the boys picked up a couple weeks ago on the wagon, which are now sitting over there. Go here and here. They won't be tied into the system with downspouts just yet, because it's, yeah, kind of running out of ports on the lag, and they're not the biggest bins in the world, so we're just going to fill them with an auger for now, and someday we'll figure out how to reclaim them back into the system. But yeah, so 4 new bins, new receiving pit. It's the plan for this year. This is what I've come up with for now for controlling the slide gates underground. I don't anticipate us needing to adjust them often. But if we need to, it would be nice to be able to close them without having to climb down into the basement. So that is simple enough. And this guy actually is just controlled. It's a 12-volt battery, so that's going to be a little difficult to... I'm going to need an AC to DC converter, or DC to AC, whatever. If I get time, there's another YouTuber at Border View Farms. He put penny lights in his wet bin, and they light up with proximity sensors as the bin fills up. And that's beautiful. I'd really like to get that done. We have 3 wet bins, so it'll take a little more time. But if I'm gonna have to run an AC to I'm gonna have to convert to 12 volt anyway from 120. One of those on each wagon, controlled by a toggle switch. It's just a reverse proximity switch. See if I can figure out how to wire that bad boy up, but then we don't have to climb down there all the time. We can try to control the slide depending on how wet the corn is that's coming in. And then we'll probably have another sort of a grain safety like the combine bin has or something in the middle of the drag, just to make sure you can't overload it. But yeah, we'd like to, whole point of this is to be able to keep the lag at capacity. It's not different people unloading all day, and yeah, this sets itself and away it goes. This is the idea. So I actually bought the switch and the actuator from 2 different separate companies, but it literally tells me how to fire an actuator in. So they can make a little box, a little weatherproof box. I have those 2 switches, 1 for each wagon. Should be pretty nice, I think. I don't have any batteries. It's very slow. But it's doing. It's very slow. They automatically shut off when they reach the end. They don't deadhead themselves. So that's 6-inch stroke. They didn't have 8 or 12s or 16s in stock. 6 inches will definitely, like that would be 8,000 bushel an hour like that. And we're gonna have 2 of them. So they both won't be open that far. But yeah, it does work. So we'll run the wires nicely above ground. I'll maybe get this one buttoned up quick. But they do work. Yeah, at least we can control the flow a little bit with that. So I'm gonna keep them both separate, run 2 switches. The only, like the downside is they're both gonna be sandwiched together. So this end and this end are gonna mate. If people don't pull perfectly into the center of the pit over the 2 wagons, it's just gonna fill that wagon first and then it'll spill over into that one. So it's gonna take a little bit of planning and explaining and kind of just that way to get people used to the new system, to use it effectively. Probably paint a yellow line or something and kind of always aim for that across the middle of the pit. But yeah, we had the front fall off a manure tank last night, so that was exciting. It was like 5 loads into pig manure. It had just been doing sand manure. Got a bunch of pig manure on our floor last night, and I wasn't planning on filming anything today, but the front of Chase's tank fell off. Why would you break it?
Wasn't my first call, okay?
And he broke it like 4 loads into piggy poo. Like we were just in dairy manure. Oh, he's got piggy poo in his eyeball.
Sweat.
Oh, the piggy poo fell in his eye hole. Yeah, we got to pull the front off, and it's the barrel itself that is cracked. So, bit of welding to do here. And yeah, we scraped it all up, and I washed the floor this morning. But I think the fly population has quadrupled in this shop in the last 24 hours. Just brutal. Between the manure in the yard and the pig manure on the floor here, the flies have just been nuts today. But I think today is the last hot day. Maybe tomorrow is still 30, but it breaks this weekend anyway. We're down to 24, 25 degrees. I can do that. It's more my style. But yeah, that's the grain pit update. I was gonna weld the 2 together, but Dad doesn't want to. He wants to get them in the pit or in the basement first, and then we can do some welding out there if we think. I just don't want them to move or shift, but we might end up legging them to the 2x2x4 cement blocks that they're going to be sitting on. We might just leg them to them, and they shouldn't move, just to make sure that nothing shifts. Because yeah, I would really like to seal whatever gizmo we make into the drag. I would like sealed up, that dust isn't getting into our basement all the time. I've seen that on a couple channels where it gets pretty grummy down in there, which I don't think we're going to avoid regardless. But seal everything up the best we can. It's going to be the reclaim stuff that really makes a mess, the dry corn. But yeah, that is the progress thus far. I don't think the boys had any fun putting this buckboard in. Yeah, the point is to make the floor slippery, but it made it so slippery that they couldn't stand in there anymore. So they didn't have fun. But we got one more sheet here. That wagon's in a lot better shape. I don't know if we're gonna do the 2 sides and that one. We probably should, just so it's done. But yeah, we'll let the boys' ankles recover. Should work. It'll last as long as these wagons do anyway, and hopefully they don't rot out, but you can always buy different wagons and pull the grate off and put new wagons in too. So yeah, I hope this is making sense to you. It'll, once the hole's dug and these are sitting in the hole, you'll go, ah, that makes a little more sense. It makes sense up here. And I think we all have the same idea of what we're gonna do. So yeah, we're getting there. Hopefully by the end of next week we've got a hole to put these in, but a bunch of haylage to do too, so I'm excited to weld the grate on top. I think that'll be a fun little welding project coming up here in the next couple weeks, but gotta get the steel ordered and really gotta get that done before corn silage. If we miss this rain this weekend, we could be dropping corn in 2 weeks, and that's gonna be, yeah. We're losing yield. We got like a 1/4 inch the other night. It's all gone. But made the corn not trouble for a day, but at least colder days are on the horizon. So anyway, tried to end this video like 4 times though. Have a good one. I appreciate everybody watching. Catch you in the next one.